Welcome to Wisdom Unveiled. And our very special deep dive today, this is actually episode 40, the final one in our series, exploring the incredible wisdom of Attar.
That amazing 12th century Persian poet and mystic. It's been quite a journey.
It really has. And our guide through Attar's, profound ideas has been the Marifat recordings, featuring those insightful conversations with Dr. Ibrahim Dinani and Dr. Ismail Mansouri Larijani.
Yes, those have been invaluable.
So today, our mission is really to unpack some of Attar's most powerful parables, especially his insights on inner truth, self-knowledge, attachment, basically what makes a meaningful life.
And we're doing that mainly through the lens of Prophet Moses' story, as told in Attar's Muzibatnama, the Book of Affliction, a really potent narrative.
Definitely. But before we dive right in, just that quick, important reminder for everyone listening.
Yes, the disclaimer.
This deep dive is a translation and reproduction of conversations with Iranian philosophers like Dr. Dinani and Dr. Larijani. So some concepts or, details might not be fully conveyed.
We do apologize in advance for any discrepancies. And, of course, your feedback and suggestions are always really welcome. Helps us improve.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's get into it. Attar's Moses in the Muzibatnama. He doesn't start with, the parting of the sea or anything grand. He starts with Moses as a simple shepherd, often wearing that jalim, the simple rough cloak. Why is that starting point, that humility, so crucial for Attar?
Well, it's Attar really emphasizing that humility and simplicity are like the bedrock. They're the foundation for any real spiritual growth.
So it's not just a job he had?
Not at all. It's his training ground. Being a shepherd cultivated immense patience. Attar uses the word halim for that deep patience. It was, you could say, spiritual preparation.
Ah, okay. Like boot camp for the soul, preparing him for guiding people later on.
Exactly. It's that quiet, unseen work, that self-effacement, the willingness to just serve before any kind of public role. It's a really powerful point.
It really is. Yeah. And then comes this major shift. He becomes known as Kalim. That transition from the Jalim cloak to the title Kalim feels really significant. What does that change signify?
Oh, it's hugely symbolic. Kalim comes from kalam, which means speech, but here it means so much more than just talking.
Right.
It points to his unique spiritual status as someone who speaks directly with God, engaged in this profound, unfiltered, divine conversation.
Wow. So it's about the quality of the connection.
Precisely. It's a state of being, really. A deep intimacy with the divine. It's less about what he said and more about the purity of the channel,
Okay, but then Attar throws in this curveball. It seems almost counterintuitive for someone famous for speaking with God. He says Moses was actually more of an ear. Yes, this is such a profound insight from Attar.
How does that work? Being an impeccable listener seems key here. It really challenges how we usually think about divine communication, doesn't it? Attar's point is that the ability to speak profound truth doesn't just come from, talking. It comes from an extraordinary capacity for listening.
Or receiving.
Exactly. Moses' real genius, in Attar's view, was his openness, his receptivity, his purified ability to perceive and really internalize the divine voice. It's that deep act of receiving that then makes the transmitting possible.
So for us, maybe the lesson is less about crafting the perfect thing to say and more about cultivating that inner silence.
Precisely. That receptivity allows deeper truths to kind of bubble up.
And that deep listening, that receptivity, it leads straight to that incredible encounter at Mount Tur. Attar calls it a jazba.
Yes, that divine pull, that attraction.
He describes it as this blinding flash of divine light that somehow compressed, thousands of years of spiritual progress into just one moment. What's actually happening to Moses in that jazba?
It's intense. In that moment, Moses experiences what Attar calls dikka. It's essentially the annihilation of the self, the ego.
Annihilation? That sounds drastic.
Well, his individual sense of I, his aniness, Attar calls it anianism, it just dissolves. It gets completely absorbed into the divine presence.
Like a drop of water back in the ocean.
That's a perfect analogy. The drop doesn't vanish, but its boundaries dissolve into the vastness. There's no longer a separate Moses, as he understood himself, just a pure conduit.
A complete spiritual clearing out.
You could say that. Getting rid of the static to hear the signal clearly.
And that connects directly to the burning bush story, hearing, Ani Allah, indeed I am Allah. But Attar gives it a mystical twist, doesn't he? It wasn't some unique magic bush.
Right, that's key. Attar suggests it wasn't about the bush being special. His bigger point is that all of existence, like every single atom, is constantly reverberating, Ani Anal, I am the truth.
So the divine voice is always speaking, everywhere.
Always, yes. According to Attar, the real rarity isn't the voice, it's the ear that can hear it, the highly attuned, purified ear like Moses possessed.
So the universe is singing, but most of us can't hear the music.
That's a good way to put it. It's a constant symphony, but you need that purified inner listening, that stillness Moses had, to actually discern the melody of truth. You know, other mystics like Sabzavari or Hafiz also talked about this omnipresent divine reality. It's always there if we can just tune in.
That completely reframes the story. And it links perfectly to Moses being told to remove his sandals. That's obviously metaphorical.
Yeah.
What are the sandals we need to shed, according to Attar?
Yes, it's a powerful metaphor. The sandals represent the name of the bottle. Not just physical things, but our ego, our self-importance, all our worldly attachments.
The things that weigh us down.
Exactly. And Attar's teaching is profound here. Wherever you shed that ego, wherever you let go of those attachments, that place becomes sacred. A holy valley.
So it's not about finding a holy place, but making the place holy through your own inner state.
Precisely. It's because you become humble, receptive, open. It's an act of letting go, a kind of spiritual disarmament. You choose to divest yourself of what binds you.
So shedding the ego makes any ground holy ground. And right after this, God's voice says, Anna, meaning I, 4 times. What's the significance of repeating I like that?
That repetition is crucial. It underscores the complete annihilation, the dika, of Moses' own Anna, his own I.
Ah, so his I is gone and only God's I remains.
Exactly. In that moment of total surrender and absorption, God's Anna is the only true, independently existing I. It signifies absolute unity. Moses' personal ego is just absorbed.
Total surrender.
Total surrender. When our small I dissolves, the divine I can fully manifest. It's not losing yourself, but finding your true self in that ultimate reality.
This whole process sounds incredibly transformative, almost like alchemy.
Yeah.
Attar links the deep listening gush to this intense inner state called jush,
Yeah.
fervent bubbling.
Yes, juice. It signifies this huge internal shift, like a wellspring of inner fervor just bursting open. He describes it as 7 seas of transformation opening up inside Moses.
Wow, 7 seas. That's vast.
It implies a deep, dynamic change. Not passive, but vibrant, active, like the depths of his being are stirring. And Attar often uses fire to describe this divine presence. He calls it Atashi Hadrat.
The fire of divine presence. Why fire?
Well, fire has unique qualities that make it a perfect metaphor. First, light, illumination. It burns away darkness, ego, desires, brings clarity.
Right.
Second, warmth and energy. It removes spiritual coldness, lethargy, brings vitality. Third, fire always moves upward, symbolizing the ascent toward God, the Makami Korbi Hak, the station of nearness.
Which Moses experiences.
Exactly. And maybe most importantly, fire consumes everything else. It burns away all other than God, the Gary Hak.
Purging everything that isn't divine.
Right. It symbolizes the unity, the wadat, that results when all illusions and attachments are purged. You know, Rumi also famously compared divine love to this consuming, purifying fire.
So it's a purifying, energizing, upward-moving force. And this fire is linked to Kurobihak, the magnetic attraction of truth. So Moses wasn't just climbing a mountain, he was being pulled.
Yes, exactly. This divine attraction pulls you effortlessly. Attar uses the image of a magnet pulling a piece of straw.
Ah, okay.
It emphasizes that the divine pull is much stronger than our own striving. Even if you feel small, like a straw, the magnet of truth will draw you in.
There's a condition, isn't there?
Yes, a crucial one. Attar says, Sukta ta nagardi atashi afrokte, which means until you burn, you won't become an enkindled fire.
You have to go through the fire to become the fire.
Precisely. It points to the necessity of Fana, that annihilation of the self, and ishkenisti, the love of non-existence of the self.
Love of non-existence. That sounds difficult.
It's not about wanting to disappear in a negative way. It's about loving God's existence so much that your own separate self seems insignificant. It's that complete surrender that allows the divine fire to ignite you.
You have to let go of everything to truly catch fire.
Wow. Okay, so this intense inner work then equips Moses to face external challenges, like the magicians, his staff versus their illusions. Right. The staff represents truth, reason, divine reality. The magician's tricks are just illusions, smoke, and mirrors.
And Attar says truth always wins.
Always. He distinguishes between namud, which is just appearance without substance, and bud, which is real existence, reality itself. Truth bud will always overcome falsehood, namud.
Like Hafiz said, magic cannot compete with miracle.
Exactly that. And Rumi had similar analogies. The core message is Don't worry about truth being defeated. Falsehood might look powerful, but it lacks substance. It will eventually crumble. It's a call for us to develop discernment, to see beyond the surface.
And the ultimate outcome of this whole journey, this burning away and facing illusions, is what Attar calls sultanati amavi, spiritual sovereignty. But it's not worldly power, is it?
No, absolutely not worldly power. It's true dominion over existence, even the unseen realms, but it's achieved through self-annihilation, through Fana, and divine selection, istina.
So you gain power by giving up power.
In a sense, yes. You give up ego power. This spiritual authority is mentioned in the Quran. You can only pass beyond realms except by a spiritual power. It's inner mastery, inner freedom.
And paradoxically, it comes from Fa, spiritual poverty.
Yes. Absolute neediness for God. Attar argues that this total dependence, this far, paradoxically leads to sovereignty over everything. He even connects it to Prophet Muhammad saying, Fakwe fakri, my poverty is my pride.
Well, poverty is my pride.
By emptying yourself of all personal claims, all ego, you become a clear channel for the true power, the divine power.
That's fascinating. Absolute need leads to ultimate freedom. Okay, so this brings us near the summit of the journey, the union of love and intellect. The guide here is the Pure Paksad.
The pure-born elder, yes, representing universal intellect, Akli Kuli.
And the core message seems to be unity. How does Attar bring love and intellect together?
The Pure states it clearly. Alame shwest va Akli salim. The world is love, and its intellect is sound. For Attar, they must be united. They're like two wings of a bird.
So intellect isn't seen as cold or separate from love.
Not at all. In fact, intellect holds a primary place. It was the first thing God created. Aval ma khalaq Allah alaqal. Attar calls it the abode of wealth of both worlds.
He really values reason.
Immensely. He even says, whoever is not rational, consider him dead. Strong words. A spiritual path without sound intellect is incomplete, even lifeless in his view.
Wow. Consider him dead. But they aren't just parallel tracks, right? They actively help each other.
Absolutely interdependent. Attar says love gives intellect speed, the passion, the drive, the motivation.
Okay.
And intellect gives love light, the guidance, the clarity, preventing it from becoming just blind emotion or misguided fervor. You need both to navigate
The
that.
deed and light. That's a great image.
And intellect, as the knower, is seen as superior to the known world. It encompasses it, dominates it. Attar felt that Western philosophy sometimes missed this because it lacked the concept of ilme huzuri.
Ilmi huzuri, what's that exactly?
It's deep, direct, experiential knowing. Not just knowing about something, but knowing it directly through presence, like knowing fire by feeling its heat, not just reading about it.
Ah, knowing from experience, not just about it.
Exactly. Your own self-presence is the foundation for perceiving and mastering the world. This is why Attar valued pure intellect, akul kul, above what he saw as limited or sticky philosophy. For him, pure intellect is the prophet of the inner being.
The prophet of the inner being, guiding you directly. Okay, so that's the ideal. But what stops us? What are the main obstacles Attar identifies to reaching this inner sight?
He's very blunt about it. Number one, attachment. You are a slave to what you're attached to. Simple as that. True freedom only comes from detachment.
Doesn't matter how big or small the attachment.
Nope. Could be a hair, could be a mountain. If you're attached, you're enslaved. And the biggest internal obstacle, our own ego. Our nafs.
A lower self.
Yes, and he uses that powerful analogy. Pharaoh is your nafs. Pharaoh, with his ultimate ego trip, I am your Lord the Most High, represents profound weakness, not strength.
So that inner voice telling us we're the center of the universe, that's our inner Pharaoh.
That's exactly Attar's point. That part of us urging negativity, control, self-importance. The biggest enemy isn't usually out there, it's that internal tyrant.
Pharaoh is your nafs. That's sobering. So the work is to move beyond just surface seeing Zahiri, to cultivate deep internal seeing Batini, to become a Haki Bin, a truth seer.
Precisely. And how do we do that? Attar tells that story, the parable of the hungry dog.
Ah, yes, where the man chases away the dog.
Only to find out the dog was the holy guest he was waiting for, just in an unexpected disguise. Our fixed ideas, our judgments, they blind us. We miss the truth because it doesn't look how we expect.
We need to clear out the mental clutter.
Exactly. Shed the biases to see the divine presence that's actually manifesting everywhere, often in humble forms. Attar has another incredible image for this.
Which one?
A human is essentially an eye. The rest is just skin. The real eye is the one that sees the friend, God.
Wow. So our true essence is perception, seeing the divine.
Yes. And realizing this leads to true humility. Attar says, He who is not humble in his own eyes, God has no business with him. It leads to tabiye, accurate self-perception, seeing ourselves truly without the ego's distortions.
Seeing ourselves as we are and seeing the divine everywhere, that really shifts the focus from external status to internal worth. Attar seemed quite concerned about people not valuing their own souls, right?
Deeply concerned. He lamented those who know the price of everything but not the value of their own soul, their Jan.
That still resonates today, doesn't it?
Absolutely. He's urging us, recognize the incredible treasure within you, prioritize the eternal soul over the temporary glitter of the world. But this inner journey, it involves something called dard.
Dard, pain.
Not exactly physical pain, it's more like a sweet ache, a spiritual longing, a non-physical effort, like spiritual digging. It's that feeling of being homesick for our divine origin.
That restless feeling, maybe, that sense that there's something more.
That's it, exactly. Attar sees that restlessness, that subtle ache, not as negative, but as a positive sign. It's a sweet pain, a deep yearning that actually guides you inward towards your true self. It's the start of digging the well within your heart.
So that yearning isn't something to ignore. It's a call inward. And this dard, this spiritual ache, it leads somewhere specific.
Yes, it's the catalyst. It leads to marifat.
Which is?
Deep experiential knowing. Gnosis. It's not just intellectual understanding. It's knowing something in your bones, in your very being.
Knowing from the inside out.
Exactly. And marifat, this deep knowing, then naturally blossoms into eshk. Pure, unadulterated divine love. A profound affection for the source of everything.
So ache leads to knowing. Knowing leads to love.
And love culminates in norm, which is like purified spiritual joy, a sublime clarity, an inner intoxication almost, a state of deep peace and connection.
Dard, marifat, eshk, norm. What a progression.
And that entire process, Attar says, is what makes the heart truly God's throne, the place where the divine presence resides.
It really shows Attar's genius, how he weaves together philosophy and mysticism, intellect and experience, doesn't it?
Absolutely. He brings them together so seamlessly. Philosophy for him is eshkelonistan, the love of knowing, that drive to understand.
Right.
But Gnosticism, marifat, is danistan hamanesh, knowing that is itself love. The intellectual quest transforms into heartfelt, direct realization. They aren't separate paths. They're two facets of the same truth. Knowing becomes loving, and loving becomes knowing.
An incredible synthesis. Well, this has been such a rich, deep dive into Attar Nishapuri's wisdom. He really pushes us to look beyond the surface, doesn't he? Beyond appearances, to see the spiritual wealth inside.
It's a powerful call to action, really, to shift from being, enslaved by our attachments, like you said, to finding genuine self-mastery and that inner freedom.
It truly is. And maybe, as you listening reflect on this journey, Moses' journey through Attar's lens, it's worth asking.
Yeah, maybe consider what subtle, maybe unconscious, Pharaoh-like delusions, those little inner voices of ego or control or maybe unspoken attachments might be holding you back from a deeper sense of inner freedom, of openness.
And connected to that, how could truly grasping your own inherent worth, the incredible value of your soul, your yan, beyond just achievements or what others think, how could that be the crucial first step towards real liberation, towards a deeper connection?
And finally, if you do sometimes feel that subtle ache, that restlessness we talked about, that sweet pain Attar calls dard, that longing for something more, maybe ask yourself what that feeling is really trying to tell you.
Could it be your invitation, your call to look inward, to start, digging your own well, to embark on your own unique journey of discovery?
A powerful thought to end on.
Indeed. Thank you so much for joining us for this final deep dive in our Attar series here on Wisdom Unveiled. Until next time, keep seeking, keep asking those deep questions, and keep growing.